I have two older sisters, and when we were 5, 3, and 1, my dad left and went to work and never came home. And I knew that I didn't want what happened to me to ruin my life. So I joined sports, I got good grades. Like, I looked at my friends with the lives that I wanted to have, and I wanted to do what they were doing. And it really helped me go down a really positive direction. And unfortunately, I can't really say the same thing about my sisters. They started using alcohol and drugs when they were young teenagers. It started out with smoking weed, drinking, and then it progressed with prescription medication, went on to heroin, meth, crack. Their drug use has impacted me in so many different ways. I don't even know if I know where to start. Growing up, when they were using, there was always something big, some big crisis. And for me, it became normal. So, you know, when you would get a phone call that something happened, you hang up the phone and you wonder, okay, what's for dinner? And now it's just like a really weird, like, normalized feeling that's not very, it's not okay. It made me go to other supports. I was always close with my teachers, I was close with my friends and their families, and I reached out to them before I would reach out to my family. Because no matter what my most traumatic experience has been, I still felt like if I went to my family, it was the least of their worries at that time. I never talked to anybody about what I went through until I was 18 years old. So talking about what I went through has really helped me process it, get it out, reflect on some things, see things differently, and get professional help. You know, I got a counselor because I have PTSD, and to learn how to cope with that and learn how to understand it and live with it, that made a really huge difference. Almost every aspect of my life was getting negatively impacted by what they were doing. I didn't want people to know what I've been through. I didn't want to be that person, especially being in a really small town. I didn't want everyone to know, but in reality, we all know someone and we've all been through something. So talking about it and breaking the stigma and focusing on, you know, the mental health and all of those other things, that's what I've really done now for self-care. It's like using what I've been through to help others get to where I am today. Luckily, it didn't take us long to know that those who have the disease of addiction will lie and manipulate and say whatever they need to say. I try not to take things so personally because I know that they're suffering. And I know that, you know, if they're telling me, it's because they want me to know. And I'm not trying to pick apart everything that they said because it wasn't the way I wanted them to say it. Both of my sisters, they didn't graduate high school traditionally. They both had kids at young ages, and none of them have custody of their children. Luckily, they're all with family. And actually, so my sister, she called me one day and she said, I need you to take Makayla. And I said, okay, when? She goes, tomorrow. So literally the next day, I got a 13-year-old girl living with me. I had to quit a job, move, completely flip my life upside down and do what I needed to do to be there for her. You gotta motivate yourself. Like, you gotta do what you gotta do. And as much as I could have let that break me down and I could have cried and sat there and been like, wow, like my life is screwed over now, but I didn't look at it like that. I looked at, this is going to be probably one of the biggest things that happens to my niece because she's 13. Like, what would happen if she stayed, or where else would she go? You know, so you think in this survivor mode, like, okay, what do I gotta do? Reach out to the people that can help you and just stay focused on one day at a time. And honestly, 1 second at a time if that's what you need to do. I wish somebody would have told me a long time ago that you're gonna have to do things that aren't easy. And sometimes those things are the best things that you can do. Setting those boundaries and sticking to them and holding them accountable is huge. It's probably the best advice I can ever give anyone because that's what helped me the most. But they know that whenever they want to change, I'm there and I'm fully willing to support them. But if I know that they're not in that right place and they don't want to hear what I have to say, then we might be a little distant. I went to school to become a substance abuse counselor, and while I was in school, I actually realized that it was really therapeutic for me. I learned a lot about my family, a lot about addiction, my sisters, and so on. So working in Winnebago County, I realized how many resources are actually out there, and it's amazing. We have a really proactive community. So for someone who isn't aware of what those resources are, they can go on to Winnebago County Drug and Alcohol Coalition's Facebook page, on their website. We have a resource guide, and Solutions Recovery Club here in Oshkosh. They have a lot of community support groups, even like fun activities that people can do sober. There's so much out there until you really look into it. I mean, you don't even know what's there. And when you do, you realize you can go down to the park and watch fireworks, and a whole section that's sectioned off for people who are in recovery. There's so much out there. You just have to talk about it. The best advice I can give people is what worked for me, and that's really realizing where do you want to go in life and what's going to help you get there. Because there were a lot of times where I could have got sucked into what my siblings were doing, and I stayed focused, and I remembered where do I want to go, because that's not going to help me get there. And realize that we only have one life, and it's really good. So if you add in the positive things and do hobbies and appreciate the life that we have, rather than focusing on all of the negativity that comes along with addiction and so on, live your life to the fullest and do the best that you can with that.
I feel way more aware of what happens, because I'll have people offering me do you want some weed? And I'm just no, I don't want to be part of that. And then they'll get mad, but I just don't care. I know what that can do to you and how they're lacing it with fentanyl and stuff. I do have really bad anxiety for my lifetime, so I'll get a panic attack, or I'll just feel very stressed out. But I have a couple close friends who just texting them makes me feel better, and I love to act or sing, so whenever I have the opportunity, I'll do that, and it always makes me feel a lot better. Or I'll just take time for me, so I'll watch my favorite show on Netflix, or I'll take a bath. I just try to focus on me. When I was in a really dark place in my life, and I was just realizing what my mom did, I never talked to people. I kind of shut everyone out, and I didn't really know what healthy coping skills were. So I started to self-harm, and then now looking back at it, I would never do it again. It's never do that. It's not healthy. People do want to help you, and there are better resources than that. And every Wednesday I had youth group, and I was always looking forward to that. Youth group made me happy, and I had a mentor at church. I went to her house every week, and we would always make cookies. Then I made the choice by myself that I wanted to get confirmed when I was 13. So I went out into my community, and I picked someone who I felt would be a good mentor for me. If I could go back in time and change something differently, I would probably speak up, tell someone that my mom had a problem, or just that I thought she had a problem. I didn't know, but I feel she would have gotten help, and it would have made my life a lot better. I think what would help my mom is if she tried harder and had the motivation to do it, because right now she says she has the motivation, but she doesn't try to do anything to resist those urges. She could get into a special type of cooking, or she could do art, but she just kind of sits at home and doesn't really try. Something I would say to other moms who are using drugs or have an addiction is reach out for help, because kids don't take that easily, and they will have a resentment towards you, and they're not going to forgive you like you think they will that fast. Something I would tell other people my age who are going through the the same situation as me is find something that you like to do so that if things are hard at home, like you can just do something you love and take your mind off of it, and just know that you'll get out of it, and there's focus on the good. Something I would say to people who have addiction or a family member to someone who has addiction is find someone who like really keeps you stable and makes you happy when you're down, or just makes you feel better if things are hard, because it can really help you.